Welcome back, everybody. Well, get this. Are you surprised? I don't know if you will be. The Labour Party has been accused of hypocrisy again after banning under 18-year-olds from party roles. Well, as you might know, it comes less than a month after the government announced 16-year-olds would be given the right to vote in all UK elections. The Prime Minister claimed teenagers were responsible enough to pay tax, responsible enough to join the army, and should be able to cast a ballot. So, why aren't they responsible enough to become local party bosses for his party? Well, I'm joined by broadcaster Danny Kelly and editor and contributor at Turn Left Media, Ben McLaine. Ben, I'll start with you. I mean, listen, I think that gets to a point, and we've seen a ministerial resignation this week over basic hypocrisy, where you just start to go, do you ever mean anything you ever say? Do you get that feeling as someone who's on the left? Do you still get that feeling from this government?
Oh, Keir Starmer is a morally corrupt serial liar. So to give you a bit of background into why the left of the former left of the Labour Party dislikes Keir Starmer so much, in 2020 he ran to be leader of the Labour Party, and I was one of the people who voted for him on the basis that he was essentially like, I quite like Jeremy Corbyn. A view here which is probably not widely held, but I quite like Jeremy Corbyn, and he essentially sold himself as Jeremy Corbyn in a suit. He made 10 pledges and said, "Okay, so we're gonna stick to these 10 pledges." But the word pledge, it's a cleaning fluid for Keir Starmer. He made the pledges. As soon as he was elected leader of the Labour Party, everything switched and he started listening to Morgan McSweeney. He broke all of his promises. I've probably disliked Keir Starmer, and the left of the left more generally in this country has probably disliked Keir Starmer for a lot longer than people have been paying attention to his dishonesty in terms of his overall dishonesty. As to the 18, 16-year-old thing, of course it's hypocrisy. Of course it is.
Yeah. It's hard to defend, isn't it? It's quite hard to defend it. I mean, realistic, it's quite hard to defend it, I think. That's the kind of the problem he's got here. Danny, I guess one of the problems people have is that Labour, before the election, sort of sold themselves to the country as they held the Tories' feet over the fire for anything they had done wrong, and they said, we'll be better, we're greater than good, and it's come out. I mean, within the first few weeks of their government, it was getting like this. Now we're over a year in, and it feels like it's just one hypocrisy after another, eh?
Do you know, I can't think of a politician who is more loathed than Keir Starmer. And I go back to, like, Maggie Thatcher, and she was loathed. I go back to Boris Johnson, and because of the referendum, he was loathed.
Yeah.
But it's incredible to hear left-wingers, like my new friend Ben here, who dislikes him so much, he's prepared to come on national telly and call him morally corrupt or words to that effect, Ben. And in fact, I think you said a liar.
Yes.
Yeah, which you would never get, really, with the Johnson era or the Thatcher era. Supporters were supporters. It was tribal. But it seems to have split the tribe.
Yeah.
Keir Starmer.
Do you want to save a boatload of cash this summer, wherever you have a trip planned? The one thing you're going to need is access to the internet and on the go. And you can do that easily with Saily. Hit the link in the description to get 15% of your first eSIM plan ready for your trip so you can browse to your heart's content. Saily gets you a local SIM card you can use when traveling so you don't have to pay those crazy roaming fees just to send a message or check the latest news. Now, they've got plans in over 160 countries, 8 regions, so pretty much everywhere, wherever you're going, they'll be able to make sure you're connected. So how does it work? All you've got to do is this. Hit the link in the description to download the app. It will work on iOS or Android. Buy a plan. You can choose an amount of data and time frame that suits you best. And then just install the eSIM on your phone. When you land at your holiday destination, you can activate your plan instantly. And if that wasn't enough, Saily eSIMs only ever have to be installed once. So when you go on your next trip, you just buy a plan for a new country, turn that eSIM back on, and boom, you're back watching me on GBNews. I'll be using a Saily SIM on my next holiday because it's actually faster than some of the hotel Wi-Fis. You can get unlimited data if you want, so you can scroll away to your heart's content. And when you leave the hotel, you don't have to do that annoying thing of Wi-Fi hopping because you've got constant connectivity wherever you go. And they've got 24/7 support as well and a full refund policy if your eSIM isn't compatible. So get sorted for your next trip. Download Saily using the link in the description below. And if you use the code NEWS at checkout, you'll get an exclusive 15% discount on us. So click the link, download Saily, and use the code NEWS at checkout.
And he is loathed by so many people. He's come on, like, he should not have said, I'm going to smash the gangs. You know, he called Rwanda a gimmick. Now, we may have differing views about immigration and lads coming over on dinghies, Ben and I, but you should have allowed the planes to take off to see if it was a gimmick or not. There are people, how much it cost the British taxpayer for these lads? Mostly lads...
Thousands of pounds.
Millions a day.
6 million, I think the hotels are a day.
OK, if Rwanda had been a relative success, you make that back. It's like being in business. You invest 50k to make 60k. You invest 60k to make 70k. You invest a lot of money in Rwanda, hoping that it pays off, and then you make that money back because the kids ain't coming over on the dinghies.
I think, Ben, the thing about hypocrisy is this, is that British people elect politicians on the basis that they're going to do the job they promised that they've done and all going to do, right? And I think time and time again, when you see things like this, or they say we're going to have votes 16 because we'll tell the public everyone's responsible, right? All these young lads and young girls are responsible enough to vote, but actually they can't be part of the Labour Party, they can't be an official, and they can't stand for office. I mean, it stinks, doesn't it? To people, it stinks.
It's obvious hypocrisy. I think one of the problems with Keir Starmer's approach to the whole migration thing, and of course we're going to disagree on this, is that that there are cases you can make that are appealing to the right, that are honest, I think, to do with migration. For example, in his final speech as US President, Ronald Reagan made the case that the US was the custodians of not just the freedom of America, but the custodians of the freedom of the entire world because of the way that they accepted refugees, because of the way they accepted asylum seekers, because of the way that they accepted immigrants in general into their melting pot of a country. It was part of American freedom. That's the sort of image that I want Britain to have. I want to see Britain, I want to see figures like Jeremy Corbyn, Zach Polanski and Zara Sultana standing up for the rights of refugees in a way that's strong, and I just haven't seen from Keir Starmer.
Yeah. Just before we go to the break, because I want to just, we've got to be fair to the government here. They are working off the back of 14 years of what I would say is an absolutely horrendous Conservative government, particularly the last couple of them. So do we need to give them a little bit of credit and say, actually, do you know what? Vote 16, sure, it's small fry really stuff. I mean, it's really not going to affect elections, but on the whole, they are trying to work back from a terrible Conservative government. If some people make that argument, Danny.
Just to address one of Ben's final points.
Very brief.
I don't think anyone has got a problem with genuine asylum seekers. I just think the perception is that these lads are economic migrants. To get back to your point about the 16 and the 18, it's mental. If you're old enough to vote at 16, why can't you be this at 16 with the Labour Party?
Fair enough. All right, thank you both, boys. That would be more coming after the break. But
at GB News, we believe in the power of free speech. We're not afraid to ask the tough questions, challenge the status quo, and give you a voice. While others silence dissent, we champion the truth. By becoming a GB News member, you're not just supporting free speech, you're defending it. Please consider supporting us today. Together, we'll hold the powerful to account and make sure that your voice is always heard. Simply go to gbnews.com/support and stand with us for what matters most.